Welcome back to the Side Chat Podcast. It's been a little while since we've done one of these, but this is a question and answer session with Loli Dragon, Moevil, Sturmling, and myself, Bohica.
Hi. Hello.
Hello.
Sturmling is going to ask your guys' questions today.
The KGB asks, what's your favorite song that Bismarck sang through one of your gameplays?
There is a really old video called the Yellow Buffalo of Texas, I believe it was called.
This way to Amarillo. Tonight I'm knocking my pillow.
I don't even
You
know.
remind me of the guy from Inglourious
That's
Basterds.
from Texas.
Wait
even know
for
that.
me.
Yes.
I see lead sauce in front of me. Oh yeah. Amarillo. Oh, we're taking off together, guys. It's so professional. Motivated by song and all. Amarillo. Me who
Gear up.
waits for me.
We're like the Blue Angels. Gear up. As soon as you're off the ground, gear up.
Why are you yelling at me?
Because there's someone else who's not.
La 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 la
All right.
la 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 la.
Over and over and over, and it was horrific.
The only one he's ever sung with me being present was the Pirates one,
Yeah, that one's the good
which
one.
I participated in.
Und wir lassen die Bomben los. Ho, ho, Luftwaffe Pirates. Ho, ho, Luftwaffe Pirates. I'm gonna shoot you guys if you don't join in.
Oh, okay,
Ho,
fine.
ho,
Oh,
Luftwaffe Pirates. Ho,
Oh,
ho, ho.
Iridex asks, is there any one moment that stands out more than any other in your streaming career?
Probably be the first time I did a 24-hour stream. That was insane. We had like 1,600 followers.
Oh my gosh.
And there was, like, it was just crazy. The whole stream was just absolutely insane. I didn't think I could game straight for 24 hours. I was exhausted. But it was crazy how many people came out to that first 24-hour stream. That was awesome.
I couldn't imagine. David Welsh asks, what game do you hate most and why? And how would you change it to your liking?
I mean, there's tons of games that I can't stand, but I don't know if changing to my liking would make them any better. I mean, if we're talking about new games, there's a ton of things we could do to different games, including World of Warships. I'll start with that one. That's the one I'll focus on, since you guys tend to know World of Warships.
So you'd be more changing mechanics than anything
Yeah,
else.
I mean, like add some nice weather, add the roll of the ocean, add some skill in regards to actually firing. It feels like it's too easy to die. You just get annihilated.
I don't know if I've ever hated a game. There are games that just aren't for me, but I don't know that I've ever found one that I just wouldn't play for whatever reason.
My answer is going to be a game I love, a series I love since I have played every single Rainbow Six game that's ever been put out. And Siege, I bought in too early, and I tried so hard to love Siege, and I still like Siege. But Siege is one of those games that just can really irritate the crap out of me. And the things that irritate me is just of course, the spawn peeking stuff gets on your nerves. But just the back-end hit registration and all the issues they've had and balancing issues. And that's a game that either one day I can tolerate, the next day I just want to throw everything out of my room.
Yeah, Siege killed me when guys started opening the windows and popping you coming out of your spawn. That was a pain in the ass. Stuff like that.
KSR Bonaparte asks, if you could spend a month visiting any single country in the world, where would you go and why?
Well, this is a good question. Bo, lead us off.
I don't really have an answer. Probably, I don't know, maybe Australia. I've always wanted to go to Australia, so I'll say Australia.
Yeah, but why? What makes you think Australia is the place for you?
I've just always been interested in Australia. I don't know. I can't give you a reason. I just always...
I don't know. Not the amazing beaches.
It's always been a place I wanted to go.
The awesome wildlife, the hot Australian accents with beautiful girls. I mean, none of this rings a bell. Just, I don't know. Come on, buddy.
I've just always wanted to go.
I'm all game for Australia. What about, Lolly? What about you?
I think I'd like to go to New Zealand.
Okay. All right.
Oh man,
I'm
Molly
honest-
chose mine too.
Yeah, I want to go see those mountains. I want to see the beauty. I heard it's a really beautiful place, and it's not really tightly populated, from what I know.
You know what it is, Mo? Crocodile Dundee. I watched a lot of Crocodile Dundee as a kid. There you go. That's why I want to go to Australia.
I like that, especially when he was like, "That's not a knife. This is a knife." I think if I had to choose, I would choose probably Germany. all the history. I want to see that. That would be my choice.
Just to immerse yourself in its history.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, you're talking about, I mean, and not so much like Berlin, but you know, more of like just the overall countryside.
Yeah.
Basically, take a tour down the Rhine River. That's what I like to do.
Mainly, I'd imagine like we talk about all the history and stuff a lot since we're obviously people that enjoy learning about World War I, World War II and stuff. So you want to go see like the battlefield areas.
Oh, for sure, absolutely.
I suppose outside of New Zealand, I wouldn't mind spending a month in Iceland.
You know, I've heard Iceland's amazing, but super expensive.
It is. It's sort of far out there, but positing that the question doesn't have cost in there, I just spend a month relaxing. It's a beautiful country with a lot to do, and I think it'd be very calming being there.
Would you check out the natural thermal pools?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
oh,
that's
yeah.
pretty
I'd
cool.
totally spend a lot of time there.
Nice.
Burn Ben asks, what has been your favorite video to record together?
For me, it's that postscriptum video we did together with the stupid armor cars and the tiger and just the absolute stupidity of that video. That was a lot of fun. I haven't laughed that hard in a long time. That was a lot of fun to record.
That was naturally fun. That was a good one.
I can't believe we lost that car that way.
I'm going to go really old school with you guys. Way, way back in the day, and I mean way back. This is back when DayZ was new and fresh. We did a video, Bo and I think Gaff might have been in it, but a few others. Anyways, the video was this. We took over an airfield, and we were locking random people in the jail cells, then forcing them to do our bidding. And that was probably one of the funniest, most fun times I've had.
When he says do our bidding, it just meant take off your pants and then leave. Like, I'll never forget this one gentleman. He came into the jail cell that we had, and we're like, sir, we need your pants. And he looks down, and there's like 6 pairs of pants on the jail cell floor. And he goes, you've had some previous customers, have you?
we took if you remember Risa, we took Risa girl and locked her in there with them, and we walked in and we threw like a knife on the ground and we said, listen, we only have time for one of you, so good luck. May the odds be forever in your favor. We walked out and let them bash it out. It was just good times.
I'd say if I had to pick one, it'd probably be the first Deep Rock Galactic we did.
Oh,
Because I didn't know what to expect going into that, and it just devolved quickly into just screaming and chaos.
that IL-2 video we did not that long ago with the 820s, where we all flying in a group.
Oh yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah.
That was so much fun, and it was just amazing that we didn't actually set that up with people. We just ran into people that were flying formation in 820s on takeoff, and they just said, form up with us, and we just went.
Yeah, there's what, 6 of them plus us 4, so it was like 10 A20s that hit a target.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was a full flight, all hitting the same target.
And that first one, we all made it back, too.
Yeah. Noobster23 asks, is there a book each of you would read that each of you absolutely love?
That one would have to be A Higher Call, and Bo's the one that recommended that one to me. That book is quite amazing. The story of Franz Stigler is impressive.
That book from like beginning to end covers so much. Once upon a time, Loli recommended a book to me called German Boy because I believe you met the author, correct?
Yeah, that was in D.C. at the National Air and Space Museum.
And he was he in the book about 12 years old, right around there?
Yeah, I believe in the book it was started off in 45 and he was 10.
I think for me, it's really 3 books, and I don't mean to overload you, but there's 3. The one I just read recently was D-Day Through German Eyes, and it's an accounting of maybe 25 soldiers who survived D-Day on the German side, on the Atlantic Wall, on Normandy. That just gives a complete accounting of what they went through, and it's, you know, being an American and hearing the American version of events at all times, this was pretty awesome to see what the enemy was facing, what they went through, and what their you know, one of the things they talk about in the book, I thought was probably the best part, is they were amazed to see they said the Americans fought war as a rich man, and the interviewer asked him, "What do you mean by that?" And he said, "Well, you know, most of the German army had to forage for food. They had to, you know, barter and trade for food, and Americans had like giant crates and tens, and you know, all their food was always taken care of, and they didn't have any horses. They kept wondering where the American horses at, because they didn't, you know, obviously the Americans, we didn't use any horses whatsoever. The other books, 2 of them, would be Gunther Rahl's biography about his time flying for the German Air Force, and then the third one would be Sniper on the Eastern Front. It's about a German sniper fighting on the Russian side, and it was very powerful. I would suggest it to anybody.
I don't really have any like books that detail the stories of the people in the wars. Almost all of mine are like technical histories of the vehicles or histories of specific things. If I was trying to pick like a favorite book, though, it would probably be one of my comics. Probably my favorite is Age of Reptiles, which is a book without writing because dinosaurs don't speak. And I
I'm
think
face
that the
palming right now.
storytelling-
You can't see it, but my head is buried in my hand on my desk.
Dinosaurs
don't speak.
They don't. That's why there's no text. So that was probably one of the most enjoyable like experiences for well, you don't really read, but it's just I really enjoyed that one. It was a different experience than most books you pick up. Dumb History and Stuff asked, what was the worst injury you ever had? The worst injury I ever had, I was about 3. And to preface this, apparently I had a favorite box. It was a cardboard box. And one evening I was playing with it and tripped over it and broke my leg.
Ouch. That's pretty beefy.
And that was probably, that's the only bone I've ever broken. And it was by tripping over a cardboard box.
Man. I've never broken any bones, so the worst injury I think I've had was when I was like 7. There's a little step outside of my outside of my front door off to the porch. It's like 2 inches high. But I was playing with a friend and I ran up to the front door, but I forgot about that step. And when the foot hit it, the face went into the concrete.
Oh.
And
Yummy.
It left a nice bruise and a good bit of panic for my parents, but nothing too major. It rattled my brain around, so maybe that's why I'm a little weird.
So back when I played American football in high school, the other team was doing like a toss sweep, and the running back had the ball, and I was in the backfield, basically one-on-one. I was the defender. I was probably about 5 yards from him, and I pretty much had him. And instead of the guy trying to like juke me, go around, you know, just fall down, just be tackled, anything, he just decided to dive straight into my knee. So the top of his helmet went right above my left knee, and then I proceeded to do a front flip. I don't remember any of this, but that's what it looked like on the camera. A front flip over him and then landed on the back of my head. So all I remember is impact, and then I woke up, and the referee, the trainer, and 3 coaches are standing over me, asking if I'm all right. I remember mumbling, "Wow, you guys got out here really fast." And they go, "No, we've been out here for 5 minutes."
I don't have any devastating injury like that one. I mean, I played tons of sports growing up, tons all through high school and even afterwards, and a little semi-pro ice hockey. But you know, I won't say the worst injuries were, you know, twisted ankles or broken ankles or stitches. But the worst one that I remember, or lack thereof, was playing an ice hockey game in Hershey, Pennsylvania. And a guy hit me on the boards and kind of squished my head between the boards and the wall, and it kind of compressed my head. And I remember falling to the ground and blacking out for a second, but crawling to the bench because I was still in the game and I still wanted to make sure I was doing a good job. So I crawled to the bench, crawled into the box, and puked my brains out on the bench. And I remember my coach walking down the bench, throwing me a water bottle and say, "Tough it up, boy. You're going back next shift."
Oh.
So I puked out everything I had, squirted myself clean with water, collected my thoughts, and went back in the game.
Man.
What is the coolest plane you have seen in real life?
A-26 and B-26K, I put them together because they're almost practically the same aircraft, that are in, what is it called? That's Vintage Flying Museum, I believe, in Fort Worth. I think it's on Mitcham Airfield.
Hmm.
Granted, I haven't seen very many aircraft in person, but I think an A-26 is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The only aircraft, well, the only real warbird that I've seen in person is the Kingfisher on the back deck of the USS North Carolina. So by default, that one is the coolest that I've got to see in person.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. I think mine for me is not a prop plane only because I've seen plenty of them that I love, but the National Air and Space Museum here in Washington D.C. area, for a time, I'm not sure if it's still there, but for a time it had an SR-71 Blackbird, and I just thought that was the coolest damn plane. You know, the stigma behind it, the fact that it's never been shot down by enemy fire. You know, walking up to that thing and kind of touching it was pretty phenomenal.
I'm trying to think. I've seen a lot of warbirds, and I've seen one of the few flying P-51Cs and planes that have a lot of history behind it. But I'm thinking back, and probably one of the first air show I ever really went to was in Kalamazoo, Michigan. This was before the F-14 was retired. That was the last time I'd ever be able to see an F-14 fly. And I'd probably have to say that, like, being able to see that thing fly in my lifetime is kind of special to me. Because I grew up on Top Gun. I even watched that old TV show Jag a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, like all the Cold War movies. You know, F-14. I just watched Hunt for the October the other night.
Yes.
F-14's in there. You know what I mean? The F-14 was like the plane of my childhood.
Detless Walnut asks, did any of the crew pursue education after high school? And if so, how many years and what did you study? I did. I attended school attended university for about 2 years because I went to a community college first. And it was 2.5. But my degree was in biology, which is not what I do now.
You do the biology of computers.
They work miraculously very differently. It's almost like computers run on some sort of eldritch magic compared to living things.
Lolly, how about you?
I have not... Well, technically, I haven't even graduated high school. But no, I have not pursued any higher education as of yet. I'm hoping to start probably at the beginning of next year, or the beginning of 2019, but as of yet, no. No higher education.
You have your GED, though. When you said you haven't graduated high school, he has a GED.
I have a high school equivalent. I do not have a high school diploma.
I went with almost 3 years of college before I decided it wasn't for me. So I'm actually pretty close to graduating with my bachelor's in business management, and then decided that I didn't feel like finishing it.
I did the fun thing of a 4-year degree from 3 different schools.
Yay!
I first started out doing a history degree, and then went to criminal justice, and then went to getting a network engineering degree. So my transcripts are a lot of fun.
Bouncing all over the place, huh?
Yeah, I'd say so. All right, Alex Meinson asks, what are your favorite liquor or drink if you drink alcohol?
We'll give Mo like 10 minutes to get through his list, and then we'll answer.
I mean, I bounce around a lot, right? So, I mean, I enjoy a good scotch. So I get down with like Macallan or Johnny Walker. But not Johnny Walker like the 10-year, like the Johnny Walker Blue or 18 years are kind of sexy. They're expensive as hell, so I don't do them very often, if ever. But now lately I've been all about rum. Rum is my new thing, and my normal rum would be like a Captain Morgan private stock. But I've bounced off into a thing called Bumbu lately. It's pretty good stuff. Yeah, I like rum a lot. I don't do beer. Not really my forte. I do ciders, I do wine, but nah, that's about it. I mean, it's nothing specific or crazy. I think, but when we did that little, kind of show our computer setups, I think you guys kind of saw my little beer fridge and my little wine area, that's my happy place. But nah, just the rum right now. I'm on to rum, and I'm sure in like maybe 3 or 4 months it'll be vodka, and it kind of just bounces around.
So rum warms your tum-tum?
Rum warms my tum-tum.
I normally just drink beer, and my favorite beer is Shinerbach. Whiskey, I normally stick between 2 brands normally, Knob Creek and Crown Royal.
And I don't drink, so I don't have a favorite.
Sturmling, we'll fix that.
What's
for
your
you.
favorite Kool-Aid?
I don't drink Kool-Aid.
What's your favorite
What do
soda?
you drink?
Sweet tea.
All right, what? That's very generalized, but we'll go with it.
We use Louisiana as the base.
Okay, let's just
It's
take the
Southern
sugar
style
out,
sweet
and we'll
tea.
put
Wait.
rum in. Rum's like 80% sugar. It's all good.
Do we really want to hear imagine that sugar is like alcohol for Sturmling? Could you imagine how he is when he's up on a sugar rush?
I'm hoping to find out, actually.
Alex Hicks asks, as a child, what were your dream jobs and why?
Playing for the Texas Rangers baseball team.
Okay.
NASCAR driver.
You know, I'm gonna go on a limb here, and I think, as an adult, my dream job was being a child again. Working sucks.
I think that's all of our dream jobs.
Nah, I think
every
if
adult's dream job.
as a kid, I think two jobs came up. I wanted to be a helicopter pilot, or I wanted to be a FBI guy. I didn't come close to either one of those.
I, as a child, wanted to become a paleontologist because
Wow.
I
Look at
thought
you.
dinosaurs were really cool, and ultimately, the thing that got me away from it was the reality that paleontology is very, very dirty. It's a lot of outside.
My question is, when you were that young, did you know the word paleontologist?
I did.
Wow.
So-
I could say it, and I could say most of the dinosaurs correctly.
All right, hold on. I just want to point out, though, that Sturmling's dream job was to be a paleontologist, correct? But you ended up being a hit star in a TV show instead.
You're making fun of Shep for sounding like Sheldon.
I mean, honestly, you were so spot on with Sheldon in a TV show. It's crazy.
Wait, did he want to be a paleontologist?
Hold on, you both like trains. You both
Yes.
like flags.
Yes.
You both like comics.
Yes. Both
I don't like where this is
philosophical.
going anymore.
Both were
Yeah, there's a lot of similarities. I'm just saying.
I don't like that.
All right, fess up, Sturmling.
No,
Yeah, fess up.
I can guarantee that I am not Jim Parsons.
Listen, if you are Jim Parsons, just do us a favor. Can you pay for the next server we buy just for like a couple months? We'll keep your secret identity quiet.
If I was, I would.
Cut it. Make sure you cut it out.
So, Sundari Gaming asks, if you could own any piece of military equipment, past, present, or upcoming, what would it be and why?
Well, Lolly knows that I tried to find a way. I tried to find any way to buy a $25,000 pom-pom. And I was like, could it sit in my living room as, like, decorative art? Could it be in the front yard? Like, I tried to find any way to justify owning a pom-pom.
When you got that obsession, it was right when Rock Island Auction actually put one up for sale.
It was not good. That was not good.
No, it's not good when you get an obsession like that, and lo and behold, there it is.
Those are really cool. They're
Yeah,
beautiful
they
things
are.
with the brass, and they're really pretty.
Yes, it is. It's a
I
very
can see this in the news. Florida man has pom-pom anti-air gun located in his apartment. Oh! Now see, you had that in Texas where you're going, no problem whatsoever.
Second Amendment! And they drive by with
Yeah,
a fist out the
right?
window.
In fact, I bet your builders would actually make a nice little sunroof for you, place it in a nice little spot on a pedestal.
But I've always wanted to have one, like, just my own BTD-1 Destroyer. Because I could imagine just, like, oh, if I have to go somewhere and get in it, I could throw my bags into what was a bomb bay and just go.
That's what Ed Hyman was thinking when he read that plane.
he was. Personal travel. I would probably want... am I allowed to, like, mix and match?
Mix.
'Cause this
Sure,
is,
go
this is
ahead.
technically a combination piece.
Make it interesting, Sturmling.
It would be a Studebaker US6 truck with the back of it is filled with just all the ammunition that I'm gonna need for these things. One of those trailers with the quad 50 cal mounts.
Oh my god.
And
Sounds like Bert from Tremors.
and attached to that, Oh, that's a tough one. The 75 millimeter German the PAC 36.
Man, you're just getting all the toys on there, aren't you?
Yeah. The trailer with the quad mount is going to be attached to the truck, and the trailer is then going to be towing the anti-tank gun. So,
Oh, God.
I think you just found a way to get a little bit of everything you want.
We got a
for
great
fun.
big
Why
convoy.
do you need any of the things you wanted?
I wanted one thing. You're trying to like make a circus.
Yeah,
You wanted.
I'm
Sturmling,
maximizing my fun with this.
Sturmling, you wanted what he wanted technically times 4.
Yeah, I can't help it that he wasn't creative enough to,
But he
expand.
legitimately was wanting to buy it. Like when he saw it.
But I haven't been able to find my things. We sent all of the US-6 trucks over to Russia. And I don't think we
Exactly.
got them back.
Of course we didn't get them back.
Sterling, are you really visualizing this thing or what, buddy? Come on.
He has a model of it. He made his own model.
He's probably got a big whiteboard that he's got things pinned up with it, like his dream board.
It's a corkboard. Raptor Beast asks, which firearm that you own holds the most sentimental value?
Lolly's gonna be a great one for this question. This is you, Lolly. You have more guns than we do.
Okay, so the gun that holds the most sentimental value for me would be my Union Switch and Signal 1911.
I just cried. I want that gun. I want that gun bad. As
Well, it's
you
not-
know, I've been trying to get one of those, Lolly. Damn it! Why would you say that one to me?
Because it holds the most sentimental value. It has the greatest story behind it.
That's a beautiful piece, buddy. How about you,
I mean-
Sterling?
My most sentimental gun would be the gun my dad bought for me the year I was born, which is a Colt Pocket Light.
Nice.
So that is technically my first gun.
Well, I guess it would be. You had it coming out of the womb. That's awesome, buddy.
Yeah.
Bobo?
It's gonna sound pretty lame, but there's a Ruger 1022 that kind of has every option on it. My dad had that gun, and they eventually passed it to me. I grew up shooting that gun. Probably in my lifetime, I put about 10,000 rounds to that gun. It's heavily used and worn. I mean, it looks like crap now, but it's something that I have the most time behind. So, and it's something I used to do with my dad. So it'd probably be that gun.
I mean, I've got a lot of guns, but I don't have any sentimental guns because no guns were like passed from my father, or have a whole lot of meaning. I mean, if I had to pick one that had sentimental value, as far as like, heartfelt, would be. I have a 22. I have a Tika 22 that I picked up for my son when he was born. It's going to be his gun when he gets old enough, and I put a little loophole scope on it, little 2x loophole baby scope on it. But that's probably a sentimental one, I think.
The Etonian Gamer asks, you and Bismarck are somewhat opposites. How did you two create a YouTube partnership?
Bismarck and I actually first met outside of YouTube. Bismarck kind of showed up one day through a mutual friend in TeamSpeak, and we just got along, and then we started flying together. And then we started doing some War Thunder videos together for each other, and then we kind of established a relationship as a wingman. We started doing some research together, and just back and forth, and then the podcast and so on. No, me and Bismarck, I would say, were friends, though. We played games outside of YouTube before we even did videos. I knew Bismarck when my channel was like 2,000-3,000 subs. It wasn't even a full-time thing yet. It wasn't anything I was really taking that serious. And it just happened. It was kind of fate. Like, I didn't seek, Bismarck out. Bismarck didn't seek me out. We just randomly met on the internet.
ThingSoup asks, what is one car you would like to own, regardless of cost or maintenance? I guess this could also be a truck or SUV, an automobile then.
I'll go super first because this is really easy for me. There can be only one car, a 1969 Shelby GT 500 KR. That's it. That's the one. Have a good day.
Okay.
I just get a giant rock truck. Just drive that around town.
Yeah.
This isn't Grand Theft Auto, Poe.
Now, and also they didn't cover fuel.
I don't know, something new. Something that doesn't leak oil. That'd be awesome. Anything like that.
Something that doesn't need constant maintenance.
Anything that doesn't require constant oil. I'm in.
If the big thing is if money's not a problem, because doing maintenance on a car is something I enjoy. So I would have to say maybe an R35 Nismo.
I think my choice would be that Marauder MVAP truck. The one that's like 7 feet tall, can run over other cars.
Basically armored car.
Bulletproof. Yeah, basically a super armored car that I could, you know, I never have to worry about traffic again. That's obviously included in the maintenance thing.
Thanks for joining us for this episode of the Side Chat Podcast. I know I said that J88 was going to come up next. I haven't forgotten about it. I'm still hard at work at it. There's some real life stuff that popped up, and I just wasn't happy with the way things were coming together for it. So I decided to push it back a little bit and do it right for you guys. Thank you for listening, and have a good day.